Assalamu alaikum. This is Mohammed Ramiz and you are watching Flutter Fluency. So in this video we are going to discuss about container. So this is the most widely used widget in Flutterflow when you are building an application. So this is most commonly used widget. So you will be also able to see the container in the most commonly used elements. Okay, so let's talk about what is container and what are the things that we can do using container. Okay, so this is really a powerful widget. You can even do anything, uh, not an anything but mostly things using container. So let's drag and drop it. So you can see that the container is there, and let's see their properties and their power. So the container also have an expansion feature. Okay, so if you want to expand and if you want to expand the area, so here you can see that right now I'm in a column, so the container can expand into the column. So if I'm going to do this, here you can see that the container is now expanded. You can use the container as a background of your screen. Maybe if you are using if you want to change, although you can also change the background color using this specific scaffold property background color. But if you want, container itself comes up with the image property as well. You can also add image in the container. Okay, so you can simply use, there might be a chance that you can use you can remove the safe area and you can use this container as a background of your screen. And maybe you can expand the width, so you can make it infinity, and here you can see that it's now expanded into the screen. So if you are thinking that okay, this thing can already been possible with the with this primary color property, so why we need to wrap the container? Wait a second. What you need to do using this container, you can simply add an image. If you scroll down, so you will be able to see that background image. So if you click here and you can click assets, not an asset but network image, maybe not. Okay, so assets. So let's see if we have any asset or not. So we have this asset, so maybe you can use this image. So you can see that it's now using this container. You can simply use a background in your application of your screen. Okay, so you can also add this thing, but right now I don't want, so I'm gonna remove this thing. And okay, so let's reverse this thing. So this is a one thing which container can do. So okay, so let's talk about the other thing. So obviously you can add paddings and rest of the stuff. If you are thinking about the flex button, flex option, so let me tell you what this flex can do. So if you want to use this flex option, so what you need to do, you need to simply add one more container. So basically right now we have two containers in this specific area, and now if we want to use flex, so we can simply use flex. So let's suppose if I'm gonna add expansion, so it will be expanding and this box should move to the bottom. So let's see if I do this thing, and let me change the color of this thing as well. So you can see that this container is taking this much space and this is moved to the down. But if you want that these two containers can take equal space, so you need to expand this container as well. Okay, so I'm gonna do the expansion, but before I'm gonna change the color to this. And now when I do expansion, so it's now taking equal space. But if there is a thought in your mind is that um, let's suppose you don't want to have an equal space, one can take the twice spacer than the other one. So let's suppose the cyan color can take the twice more space than this container. So what can I do? I'm gonna click on container, and now here comes the property of flex. So you can simply click on 2, and now this container is taking twice space of this. So basically if you if you uh, if you copy this widget two times, so it will be taking the same space the cyan color is taking. So if I'm gonna make it to 3, so it's taking thrice space than the tertiary color. Okay, so you can only use the flex widget with expansion. If you have not enabled expansion, so you will not be able to use flex widget. So let me remove this thing, and expansion would be removed, and let's see the next thing. Okay, so the width is already understandable, so you can simply set the width. And if you want this text widget would be expanded taking all the width that we have in a screen, so you can simply use infinity. So if you use infinity, so it will be taking the whole space. Okay, I'm gonna reverse it, and here we have also a percentage. So if you want the screen size change, then the percentage of the width also change. Maybe we can say that 20%. So when we are changing the screen size of the let's suppose I'm gonna move to the tablet, so you can see that it's taking 20%, so it's adjusting based upon the screen size. Okay, so that's how you can use the percentage if you want. And maybe we can move it to the expansion and height. You can simply adjust the height using this thing. Okay, color would be adjusted here, and there is a most important property, which is a border color, if you want to highlight a border. Okay, so let's suppose if you are creating a customized text field in which you want to show maybe you can maybe you want to show any edges or any specific border, any specific pixels of border around the text field. So you can simply add a container and then you can insert a text field, which we will be also covering into the future topics about the text field. I know I have not discussed the text field, but let's suppose if you are using a text field and you want to use this thing, so you can simply add, and you can add a border. Maybe you can set as a border of pink border, and you can set the border width, which is maybe we can say 2 pixels. So now we're having the 2 pixels of area, but we can change the color first so that it's more understandable or readable to us. Okay, so now when I remove this thing, so you will be maybe you will be able to see this border. Maybe we can change the color to see better. Okay, so yeah, now you can see that the border color is now there. So let's add a padding little bit. So this is basically evenly padding, uniform padding, which means that if you are gonna add the padding from left, right, top, bottom on 4 sides the same padding, so you can click here and you can simply add one time padding, and it will be adding the padding on every side. Okay, and if you want independent padding, so you can use this thing, like there would be a 20 pixels, there would be a 20 pixels, but on top and bottom there would be a 12 pixels only. So you can use uniform padding. So now you will be better able to see, I guess. I'm gonna change this color to the white. Yeah, okay, now you can see. So you can see that the border color is now there, and the border width is also there. Okay, and if you want to make your container to curve kind of scenario, so you can also do this thing using uniform, similarly uniform radius and independent radius. So let's suppose I want that the curve should be on this side and this side. So basically top left side and bottom right side. So let's do it. Top left side should be 20 pixels and bottom right side should be 20 pixels. Okay, so let's see. So yeah, here you can see that that's how it's look. Okay, so you can simply create designs, patterns using your container. So this is really a useful widget in your application. So elevation, this is really important. This is another important feature. Using an elevation, you can simply raise or lift up your container. You can also use container as in exchange of your button widget. Okay, so if you don't want to use a button widget due to specific issues, because maybe button if in a button widget we can't add two lines, text lines in a button widget. If you have multiple lines in your button, so you can create your own custom button using your container. But if you want to lift up like the same the button lift, so you can add elevation. So let's suppose 2 or maybe 10, so that you will be able to see better. So maybe you can see, or I'm gonna change the background color so you can see better. Okay, so you can see that it's now more. Let me change the okay, so let me change the elevation to 0 and show you. Okay, here you can see now 0 pen elevation, it's not lifted up. Okay, but when I'm gonna add elevation of 100, let's suppose, so that you can see better. So it's now moving up. Here you can see also elevation is moving down, which is lot of. So I'm gonna make it 10, so it's now lift up. It's like a button kind of scenario. It's click, maybe user can see, okay, you can click on this button because it's lift up. Okay, so elevation you can add. Okay, so minimum width and maximum width, this is important thing you need to understand in your application. If you want to restrict that container can take this space, must take this space, and if the size is more, so it will take another space. So you must need to define minimum space, minimum width as well. Let's suppose minimum width of this container is let's suppose the total width of this this container is maybe, let's see the mobile screen have the size. Okay, so 930 393 width. Okay, 393, so it will take 393 of space, what I'm saying. And I'm gonna remove this padding, so it will be taking 393 pixels. And I'm saying that in the minimum width, maybe we can say that 400 pixels. And because it's more than, obviously it's more than this. And for 1000 pixels I have wrote, so for 400 pixels. And if I comes here, so in the minimum width I can add that, okay, although the mobile size is taking 400 pixels and mobile size is, we know that mobile size is 393. So what we need to do, minimum width would be, maybe we can say that 350 pixels. Okay, so which means that when we comes to the mobile size, from desktop side to the mobile size, so it can see that, okay, minimum width is 350, so we need to reduce it, okay, till 350. Okay, otherwise the size is 400. So you can define minimum width, maximum width, minimum height, maximum height, even if you are using percentages. So let's suppose if you are using percentage 20 pixels, and you can simply set that 200 pixels is minimum, so you can't reduce more than 200 pixels. And you can simply clip content behavior as well. So if you have a minimum behavior, so if the container is not stretching, not compressing much, so when so there might be also chance that the content is overflowing. So you can, how you can clip that content, so you can clip that content using this button. So you can click here, and the rest of the content which is overflowing the text, when your threshold is hitting to the minimum width or a maximum width, so the content would be clipped off if you enable this option. Then we have a similar property, just like the previous video we have covered, shadow. So we have a box shadow here. So if I click here, so you can see that you can also add elevation, and you can also add box shadow. It's up to you. Elevation comes up with their own on shadow, but if you want to customize your shadow, so you can use box shadow. So if you click here, if I click here and add spacing, you will be able to see now. So it's more lift up. You can simply add blur. I have also covered this thing in a text widget widget video in the previous video, so you can also watch if you don't understand this thing. So let me disable this thing. Gradient, we have already talked this. There we also come up with the same property. We have a gradient property which we can manage, and if you have not watched, so you can navigate to the previous video. Okay, so that's it. And similarly, just like the text widget, we have an animate changes. So here we have implicit animation. Okay, so you can add an animation here in a container if you don't want to add animations using this. So you can use the animations by clicking this button. Okay, so you will be able to see this video in a separate in future videos. Okay, yeah, this is really important feature, child alignment. So let's suppose if your container takes a text. Okay, so if I'm gonna add text into the container, so you can see that it's on the top side. We don't know how we can adjust these things. If we can adjust this thing using the text, maybe we can move the text to make it center. There is a one case. And another case is you can simply click on container. Okay, so this is container, and you can simply move child to the center, and now every children which we are gonna add must be in a center of the container. Okay, so yep. And let's see, do we have anything more? Safe area. So if you want to add spacing, so maybe if you are using your container as an app bar, so there must need to be add a safe area, so that at least your top notch will not be overlapping with your content. So you can use safe area in that way. So container, you can see that container is an alternate of many widgets. Like container can be used against button, image, container itself, then the card widget, then container can use in expansion. Okay, spacer, sorry. And circular image, because you can also you can also mold this container to a circular way. How can you do this thing? So if you don't want to have a square container, so you can use circular container. So you can click on this one, so you can see that it's now circular, and now you can simply add image, so it will be converted into a circular image like this. Okay, So let's see, do we have any other thing? Yep. So that's it for this video, and if you have any questions, so you can just drop up a comment into the comment section, and I'll see you into the next one.